Hey Canucks fans, who do you think should start on the Canucks third line? I'm Clay Emo. I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Tuesday, September the 3rd. Everyone's back at school. My wife is back at school. Sean's starting at Sauder UBC. Jacob's going to grade 11. Kayla's going to grade 7. Even I'm doing my master's. So we're back to the September grind now, and we'll see how we do as we try and settle into normal routines once again. One routine that we're going to all get into as Canucks fans is predicting who's going to be on the opening night roster, who's going to be playing with who on the forward lines. It's funny how we spend so much time, we spend so much energy doing this because it's fun. It's fun to predict who's going to play with who do we think is going to have chemistry with who do we not want to see playing, who do we want to see buried in the minors, whatever it may be. And it could all change in game 2 or game 3. It could all change in the second period of the first game. Who knows? But for today, let's have some fun with it. Let's talk about the third line. And it's very important that we talk about this third line because we've heard in many statistical analysis that the Canucks bottom 6, their third and fourth lines, got absolutely hammered last year. They got buried. I think they were the worst in the entire league when you look at goal differential and how much they gave up per 60 minutes kind of thing. The average, or I don't know what the stat is, but I know it's bad. I've read enough to know that they got buried last year in their bottom 6. Now we think it'll be better this year because with additions of guys like JT Miller and Michael Ferland and even Tanner Pearson at the end of last year, simply by better players being put in those positions. That means guys that were having to play up in the second line last year that maybe were playing, kind of above their pay grade, so to speak. That meant that everything else got pushed up. The third and the fourth lines were not as strong either because you had your best players playing in the first and second line. This year, with better players in the first and second line, the quality of player that you have on your third line naturally and intuitively should be better. So let's presume, that's kind of a convoluted way of saying, but we'll be better this year. So let's presume, just for argument's sake, that the top 6 will include Besser, Pettersson, Horvat, Miller, Ferland, and Tanner Pearson. I know some people are thinking Tanner Pearson is more suited for a third line, but I do like the chemistry he showed with Bo Horvat at the end of last season. So let's say, for argument's sake, for today's discussion, that we count Pearson in that top 6. Pearson, Horvat, Miller, Pettersson, Besser, Ferland, no matter how they line up, we say those are the top 6. So then for this third line, actually going by elimination, your fourth line, I think you're considering guys like Jay Beagle, of course, Tim Schaller if he makes the team, Louis Eriksson if he makes the team, Tyler Mott. So then when you're looking at the third line, I think you're looking at 6 guys. And I want to know, basically from you Canucks fans, what's your ideal third line? Again, presuming that Tanner Pearson is in your top 6. At center, you have a choice really between Brandon Sutter and Adam Gaudette. I think Adam Gaudette, because he's not, you don't have to pass him through waivers. They're going to start him in Utica. They only played him last year here so much because of injuries to Sutter and Beagle throughout the season. So I fully expect that to be Brandon Sutter's role, Brandon Sutter's job, unless Adam Gaudette does something amazing during training camp and preseason. I expect Gaudette starting Utica. So I think Brandon Sutter is your third line center. Then on your 2 wings, I think you're looking at 4 different players. You're looking at Sven Baertschi, you're looking at Nikolai Goudobin, you're looking at Jake Virtanen, and you're looking at Josh Leivo. Sven Baertschi, coming off concussion issues, says he's in really good shape. He feels very confident, and he's very skillful. He actually showed a lot of skill at the start of last season playing with Pettersson and Besser. So if he doesn't get a chance to start in the top 6, I think Baertschi, you want him on your third line. He's not a fourth line player, so you want Baertschi on your third line. You got Jake Virtanen, tantalizing set of skills that we still haven't seen unlocked to its full potential. Maybe he makes a case for playing on the second line with Horvat and Miller, so to speak, or Horvat and Ferland. Wouldn't that be a crazy line? Horvat, Ferland, and Virtanen. But let's say he doesn't crack the top 6. Would Jake Virtanen fit into a third line role? Yeah, he could. He's got good wheels. He's got good hands. Hockey vision still not the best, but third line, fourth line, either way. But I could see him pushing, and I'm sure he'll want to play on that third line. Then you have a guy like Nikolai Goudobin, not even signed yet as an RFA, likely to get a show-me deal of a year or so at $1 million or so. But Goodobin doesn't seem to be like a fourth line player, so he would be considered as well for the third line. He has a nice skill set as well, but it's his compete level sometimes and his defense that we're not so sure about. And then you have Josh Leivo. Josh Leivo came over in December last year in that trade from Toronto, and he played very well in our top six. He's got a heavy shot. He's good on the boards, decent size, and he surprised in the top six as well. So that's what I mean. You had Virtanen playing in the top six last year. You had Goodobin playing in the top six before he got benched for, seems like, the second half of the season. You had Josh Leivo playing in the top six. But those guys get displaced by Miller, Ferland, and Pearson, and I don't think there's any argument saying that those three, that trifecta of Miller, Ferland, and Pearson are overall more skilled, or at least will be more impactful in the top six than the combination of Leivo, Goodobin, and Virtanen. So I think the wild card here is Sven Berchi, because we didn't see him for basically the last part of the season. And he's got a really good skill set. And if the Canucks are indeed trying to move to 3 scoring lines as opposed to 2 scoring lines and 2 checking lines, then Sven Berchi should be part of that third line. And I don't think he'll be, he's not a fourth line player. Nikolai Goodobin's tricky because he's not even signed yet, and I could see him playing in the top 6. I could see him playing on the third line. Not really a fourth line guy. And then I could see him in the press box as well. And Jake Virtanen should figure he'll be a regular everyday player for sure. It just matter where. And then Josh Leivo can play up and down your lineup. So if it's up to me, I see. If I had to guess today, I'm guessing it's going to be Brandon Sutter between Sven Berchi and Jake Virtanen. Gives you some size, gives you some speed, gives you some skill, and at least with Berchi and Virtanen, not so much Sutter, with Berchi and Virtanen, you have the potential to put the puck in the net. So at least there'll be some potential for scoring on the third line. Then one of those two other guys, Josh Leivo or Nikolai Goodobin, will likely drop to the fourth line. Let's say Josh Leivo, for instance, to play with maybe Jay Beagle and Tyler Mott. I could see them Canucks lining up like that. Like I said, Beagle between Mott and Leivo, with then guys like Schaller, Eriksson, and Goodobin even on the outside looking in. Then when Antoine Roussel comes back from injury, likely around Christmas time or the New Year, he likely slots in the third line, but then by then we'll know who's playing with who, we'll know who's playing well, we'll know who's injured, so we don't have to worry about that. But Antoine Roussel, if he was healthy, would further muddy the mix. So if I had to pick, I go Brandon Sutter between Sven Berchi and Jake Virtanen, and that is my third line to start the season, with Leivo, Beagle, and Mott making up the fourth line. Canucks fans, would love to know what you think. Do you think a Sutter, Berchi, Virtanen line could be successful enough? Do you agree with me that they could have a potential of having a nice mix of size, of speed, and of skill, and of goal scoring ability? Or maybe that line's too small for you. Maybe that line is too slow for you. I don't think it's too slow, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you just want to see different guys change the mix up. Maybe you're not sold on Sven Berchi. Maybe you think Jake Virtanen has had his chance, whatever it may be. And that again is presuming that Tanner Pearson is playing in the top 6 on the second line. Maybe you want to make an argument that he should not be playing in the top 6, and that a guy like Berchi, Goodobin, and Virtanen should get that chance. So leave a comment below. I'd love to read, react, and reply as always. Give me your ideal third line for this team. And like I said, a lot's going to change in the next month. Training camp, preseason, God forbid, injuries, chemistry, whatever it may be. But yeah, if I had to choose right now how the Canucks are going to line up to start October, it would be Sutter between Berchi and Virtanen. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the day. God bless. And go Canucks go.